Now,
This is the Only in Miami show. Welcome to our special report, hashtag People of Ultra. We're covering the EDM music that you may not have heard of. These gentlemen are local. They're EDM musicians. They may or may not be playing Ultra, but they're certainly playing at the Nest. The Nest is a pop-up nightclub location just for Ultra this year at 60 Northeast 14th Street. This is the Only in Miami show, and I'm your host, Grant Stern. We're here with Afro Monk.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for coming on the show tonight, my friend.
Thank you.
And thanks for being patient with us.
It's all right.
So you're going to be playing at the Nest tonight, correct?
Yeah, I'm playing tonight and next weekend, Friday and Sunday.
So you're playing actually this weekend and then next weekend
Correct.
for Ultra.
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, tell me a little bit about what got you into electronic dance music and being a DJ.
Sure. So I grew up in South Florida. So I was part of the underground movement when I was a young kid in high school, and found Florida breakbeats and drum and bass, and kind of my roots come from there. So eventually just kept on collecting music. Eventually started a blog, and it just happened to become a DJ.
That's sometimes just how it happens, right? You just kind of get interested, and all of a sudden you start making it.
Yeah, it's just important to get involved and push forward what you believe in.
So, I mean, tell our audience about a few of the gigs that you've played, because you told me you've like flown all over the country doing this. So,
Sure.
what do you got?
Sure. So I played tons of West Coast festivals, Colorado as well, Texas. Last year I went to Toronto. That was quite an experience getting to open for one of my favorite bands.
All right, and are you playing any other venues for Ultra this year?
Just a Nest. I've been kind of slowing down, but the owners, Lauren and Anders, they're close friends of mine, so playing all night, all week, every day for them probably.
Well, I understand you have a day job too, and tell our audience a little bit about that.
Sure. So music is actually just a hobby of mine. It's something that I do just to kind of let off steam. I work 50, 60 hours in the office. I do online marketing. I'm an online marketing director at an agency, Peak 7, and this is the way I get to kind of get away from the world.
No, it's a great way to get away from the world. And by the way, you're on SoundCloud, correct?
Yes,
Oh.
Afromonk is what I go by, so you can find it at SoundCloud/Afromonk.
So, what are your musical influences in the electronic dance space? Like, what do you like to listen to?
Sure. So what I really love to listen to when I'm not listening to electronic music is trip hop and down tempo. So bands like Portishead, Hooverphonic, and it plays a big influence in the Afromonk sound. Just really sexy, chill vocals. Kind of just a vibe, like something just like it's late at night and you're just hanging out and you just want some good music and you don't want it in your face screaming at you. That's definitely where the trip hop sound is really like influential in my style.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of a funk style almost. Like, I hear it translate into music, your music that way. It's like,
Yeah, I actually have two aliases. Afromonk is generally where I keep it pretty mellow, pretty sexy, and I created a new alias in the recent year or two called the Brass Topper, where it gets super funky swing music. It's fun.
okay. So, is it straight swing? Like,
Yeah, electro swing is a big proponent of the Brass Topper, but there's definitely some mid-tempo, bouncy funk-based music along with it.
okay. So I mean, this is something new. This is not just the same old swing you've heard, but
Sure.
like,
Yeah. This is definitely a new take on it. It's very kind of housey, electro dance party, kind of stuff. Whereas an Afromonk is more of the like loungy, hang out, chill. So got a little both sides.
no, that's really cool, man. I used to like be a bouncer at a swing club, so I heard all that traditional stuff. And I mean, are they playing this in swing clubs? Or have you booked any swing gigs yet?
So the electro swing, there are in Europe, a lot of bands. The show in Toronto that I played in Canada was opening for Karen Palace. They're one of the biggest bands and incredible, full band with 8 members, jamming out.
Like with the horns and
Yeah,
the...
yeah, and it's awesome. It's cool to see that. A lot of people ask me what's coming next, with the electronic music and the funk and the swing and bringing back that style. I think is coming up again.
Well, you're a resident of Miami, and you live like just north of the Wynwood District, right?
Yeah, I live in Design District. I love it.
Well, how long have you been in Miami?
So my whole life, born and raised. I did go to school in Tampa, and I spent some time in Texas as well. But yeah, born, raised Miami.
Well, what do you think of what's happened to Midtown and the district over the last 5 years, 10
It's
years?
it's crazy. Everyone asks me like wherever I live, and I'm like I live in Design District, and I always tell people, especially people from out of town, I'm like 5 years ago I would have never ever dreamed or thought of wanting to live in the area, but it just transformed the art. I just recently heard that, which makes sense, that Wynwood has the largest street art in all of the U.S., which is mind blowing when you think about it.
The largest collection of street art in the United
Yeah,
States.
it's incredible, and
That is kind of mind blowing.
yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere, but you kind of start taking it for granted almost a little bit when you're like walking around it so often, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I can walk around. There are some areas, you gotta be careful, but there's a community, and it's growing, and it's expanding. It's great.
So, are you playing gigs in Wynwood too? Like, are you going to any of the galleries? Is there?
Sure, yeah, definitely here and there. Like I said, I'm slowing down, but anything to get involved and help out, and represent Miami. But yeah, we used to be at the stage as well, plenty of times, and so yeah, it's a great area to be in.
Now, what's your favorite local place to play or gig out? Is there one in particular that stands out,
Honestly,
or is there one that's gone by that maybe was here
um,
before and took off?
honestly, all shows to me are great. Everywhere I go, it's just nice to be able to like express oneself through music anywhere. So just the stage, we spend a lot of time and it is great. Cousin's the owner, so it's great to kind of have like a family tied to it as well.
Yeah, is there a particular gig that you're looking forward to playing or would like to play, or a venue that you think is like
Um,
the spot that you want to get into?
for Miami, not really. I haven't
But
played
but
Bard.
I mean somewhere
Yeah,
else, yeah.
there's one. I haven't played Bordeaux, and Bordeaux is one of those places where it's bringing forward thinking artists and music. So
Okay.
definitely getting involved in there would be nice. But I honestly, like I said, this is more for fun. So whoever's willing to say, hey, come play music, I'll do it.
Are there any other like pop influences that you haven't mentioned that or stuff that really like that you think our audience should listen to that's like influential to you?
Sure, sure. So modern day, electronic artists, that I really, I'm not into the house music, floor to floor, but I big modern day influences are people like Emancipator, Bonobo, just music that makes you feel good tonight. Today was the Selection Barbecue where it came from, probably heading back to play a set later tonight, and it's just feel good, that whole R&B new take is just, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, are you talking about stuff like even Farrell's new stuff? That's kind of like a very pop extension of that.
To be honest, I'm actually quite a critic, so I'm generally stay to the music I listen to.
Gotcha.
And very deep. I'm downloading and buying 10 gigs a week and going through like just there's so much music out there.
So you're
Whereas,
really like a mass consumer.
yeah, I'm
You
a
go
mass
through a ton of
consumer.
music and just filter out a
Yeah,
little bit.
I go through probably 10, 20 gigs a week of music.
That's quite a lot. I
Yeah,
mean, that's a whole lot.
I definitely would consider myself an audiophile. I have a huge, setup, studio, all sorts of headphones, amps, and music's what I do for fun.
Okay, that's really cool. I mean, that's why we wanted to have you here. Uh-oh, looks like one. Let's see. It looks like we missed one. Oh, there we go. We're back on. Um, can you get our next guest started to warm up? Thank you. um, yeah, there was a really great question. Oh yeah, so when you're producing in the studio, like what are the tools that you use, and what do you like to use when you go play live? Like, because I
Sure,
think
sure.
every musician has a different set of tools.
Absolutely. That's
So
one thing I definitely pride myself in. I use Ableton Live, so the whole turntables, CDs is kind of, times are evolving, and tools like your laptop and MIDI controllers lets you manipulate and control the sound versus just putting a needle on the record and sitting back and letting it play. So, in the studio, pretty much all Ableton Live, controllers, being able to, I come from being a huge nerd and playing video games, so turning knobs and pressing buttons and, manipulating sound real time while you're playing up there is just the funnest thing in the world.
yeah, no, That's what it's all there for. I mean, you kind of feel like a mad scientist at times.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a video game. You know, I used to play video games a lot, and now I say Ableton's my new video game.
You ever get to use any analog equipment?
Sure, yeah. I'm definitely learning to play piano. I just bought myself a white piano. It's gorgeous, and I want to get more into
That's
actually
some
playing
analog,
live.
like that's an
Yeah,
instrument.
yeah. I definitely want to get more keys live. My ideal dream would to have a band like Portishead and have like a trip hop band playing synth and doing it all live.
Yeah, and some. I mean, when I talk about analog, I'm not just talking about instruments, but also like, the Moogs,
Sure,
the
sure,
old school
absolutely.
synths.
Thank goodness for technology. I have a giant full 88 key keyboard, so I can run any software to manipulate anything analog. So, but yeah, once I feel comfortable and I can play keys really well, I'll probably dive into the analog world and get all sorts of synths and get crazy with it.
No, that's really cool. One last question, and it's just out of curiosity mostly. Like, did you have musical training when you were like growing up? Did you have formal musical training, or did you just you're into it, you got into it, and you went with it straight
Sure,
up?
sure. So I actually have no musical training, but I have had a computer in front of me, my own computer, since fourth grade, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pirating and distributing music at a mass scale and collect my music collections terabytes. So it's just a matter of consuming music and learning from everything I hear.
That's great. That's great. So tell our audience where they can find you online.
Sure. So I actually run a music blog, afromonk.com. So there's hundreds of posts. I've written over 500 posts on there.
And that's www.afromonk.com.
Sure. And then SoundCloud, I have probably over 20 mixes that are minimum an hour long at soundcloud.com/afromonk.
Okay. And then on Twitter, it's at afro_monk, right?
Yeah, it's 2 words.
2 words. 2 words. And one more place on Instagram. You on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, afromonk, all one word. And look me up. Plenty of music just to hang out, vibe to at night. That's what I do.
Very cool, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, Afro
Thank
Monk.
you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and have a good time at the Nest tonight.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's great to see stuff happening in Miami.
I appreciate it, and listen for yourself tomorrow night on the radio.
Thank you.
Let's bring in our next guest. Are we live at remote from the Nest? Do we still have the Nest out there, guys? I think we do. Can we go to the Nest for a minute? Let's see if we have that here. No. Let's see what's going on out there. Can we hear the Nest? I don't know if they're going. Where's the album? Where's that album?
Put my Twitter.
Give me some writing on the wall there. Sure. Yeah. Go right ahead. Yeah, go to the Nest. You have the CD here, right? Can I have the CD?
I'll have some.
Yeah. Yeah. Hector? Okay.
I see how many sets put underscore keys. Well, I'll just hit the Twitter.
Okay, what's the crew? It's
XYZA.
XYZ. Alrighty. Drop a squat. And we're back live. This is the Only in Miami show, and I'm your host, Grant Stern. You can find me on Twitter at Grant Stern. This is the Only in Miami show. You can find us online at www.onlyinmiamishow.com, and you can find us at the same name on Twitter as well. This show will be broadcast from 7 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night on 880 a.m. The Biz Radio in Miami. That's Miami's Bloomberg Network station. You can check them out at www.880thebiz.com. And there's a live listen link there as well, so you can listen to the webcast live on your computer or anywhere. We also SoundCloud webcast. We also podcast there. It's soundcloud.com/Grant Stern. We're here with our next guest, Telescope Thieves from the XXY
It's XYZA.
XYZA crew. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
XYZA crew. So, thanks for coming on the show. What's your non-stage name?
My name is Mario.
Mario.
Santos.
Well, thanks for coming on,
It's my
Mario.
pleasure.
You just finished spinning at the Nest a few minutes ago.
I did indeed. Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. I mean, to be on the same bill with the selection guys is, I mean, it's an honor. Those guys are they're huge and they make really, really dope beats. So as soon as I got the offer to be on any bill with those guys, I was like, yeah, whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, are you from Miami?
Yeah, I've grown up here from Hialeah,
From the
Right.
Hialeah? Yeah.
Hialeah area.
And the same question. I was wondering, do you have formal musical training, or are you self-taught also?
I kind of came into it in an interesting way where I went to Miami Lakes Tech, which is like a vocational school in Miami Lakes kind of by the Opa-locka Airport. And they started, when I went to the school there, it was brand new, and they started this like music engineering kind of program.
Sure.
And so we learned a lot about like Pro Tools and software-based production stuff for music, and then we also were taught like music theory. But
Okay, so you actually got some formal musical
A little bit, yeah.
education.
Like it wasn't really like they didn't teach us an instrument, but our teacher like gave us the basics of music theory, like chord progressions and type signatures, those kind of things. So
Well, that's really important. So you actually have like a basis for.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, oh, that's great. I mean, that's more than a lot of people have, like chord progressions.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's most people are like lucky if they learn the notes. You know.
It helps out. I mean, it's the kind of thing where I've always ran into people who I feel like I wouldn't maybe overtrain is the wrong word, but
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes if you rely on it too much, you can kind of box yourself into like always doing things like a really proper way and picking the right chord that's supposed to go after another one. So I've always kind of tried to keep it like in the back of my mind and pull out the kind of some of the knowledge when you really need it, but just kind of try to feel things out. You know?
Well, actually, I was a music student,
Mhm.
and I went to a music and arts high school in downtown. And what they told me is that music theory was made after the music,
Yeah.
and they took what sounded good and made that into
Yeah.
what should be done next, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I feel like some people kind of like they learn the theory and they feel like they put it before what it sounds good. You know? Sometimes I feel like that happens.
No, that's a good point. Like
Yeah.
they're boxed in. They're like, well, you
Yeah.
have to do,
Yeah, you have to do
you
this,
you
this,
have
and
to
that.
stay inside the lines. But those lines were made hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. No, and they come in handy all the time. There's times where I'm like,
Oh, of course
so
they do.
stuck, and I'm like, oh, pull the five chord, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not? But then there's times where it's like, oh well, let's see how predictable everybody can
Mhm.
get, and it can be like that
Yeah,
sometimes.
definitely.
No,
Yeah, no, I think my teacher in high school, Mr. Grau, I owe a lot to him. The theory he taught to me is like invaluable for sure.
who was it?
His name is Mr. Grau. I call him Mr. Grau still. He was my teacher, but it's Joshua Grau.
Okay.
Yeah, he teaches at the I think he's the director of the School of Audio Engineering now.
Okay.
Like Georgia or something.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
great to recognize a great teacher. There's
Yeah,
not
he
so
was-
many of
he
them
was
out
great,
there.
yeah.
Give me a second. We're gonna get this other webcam turned back on. Picky webcams. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
So, tell me a little bit about the genre that your music fits into. Like, what's your genre? What'd you call it?
I don't know. I have a tough time describing it. I've seen a lot online. People describing it as like future beats, um, R&B, hip hop, and soul are like really the basis of everything.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people describe the genre as future beats. And I don't know. I think that'd be, I guess.
Well, why is it future beats?
I'm not sure.
I mean, is it like very light and airy, or?
I think it's because it really takes. I know it takes like a lot of influence from R&B and hip hop and soul, but it kind of takes it to a space where it's more than. I mean, because if you were to just take a hip hop beat and listen to it, for the most part, you're kind of waiting for the rapper to come on, you know. And with these kind of beats, it's like taking it to a spot where you don't need a singer, you don't need a rapper. The beat, it's a song in itself, but it's derived from music that's originally made for just people to sing or rap over.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way of putting it. So, who are your musical influences then?
I have so many. I think I guess it narrows down when it comes to the music I make, but I guess Flying Lotus is a huge influence. Radiohead, uh, Quartet is a really big influence. Guys like new up and coming guys like Shlomo and Giraffage, who are like they're pretty big in their own right, but they haven't been around for years, and they're like still are huge influences. I can't think of much beyond that right this second, but those
I mean,
are all,
like,
yeah.
what are the last couple of live shows that you've gone to?
Last live show that I went to. What was the last one I went to? Do you know? Was it Giraffage? No, that's my girlfriend. Yeah, it was. She's better memory than me. Yeah, I opened for Giraffage, and that was a big, that was big for me because
Okay.
I'm a big fan of his. So.
Where'd you open for him?
Bardot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was really cool.
Yeah. What are some of the other live venues that you've played at?
I played at the Talent Farm.
Where's that?
It's up in like Pines area.
Okay.
I played a lot of little tiny venues. There was one that was, what was the name of it? It was kind of like this little cafe up in North Miami. I forgot the name of that place.
Luna Star Cafe? Is it that one?
No. It was right by there though, but it was another cafe. I played at Sweat Records. That was really cool. Churchill's. I played at
Churchill's.
Yeah.
You heard that Churchill's is under contract to be sold?
Is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Apparently
That's
David
crazy.
is getting a little long in the tooth.
I did hear the owner was trying to like sell it. And I've been in before I started this. I played in two different bands down here. So
What kind of bands?
just like alternative rock and like mellowed out rock.
What'd you
stuff.
play?
I played the keyboards and bass.
Okay.
And so I played Churchill's. I played PS14 when it still existed, and the White Room, and a lot of little places down here. Studio A when that still existed.
Studio A.
Yeah.
That existed for about 10 minutes, I think.
I played there a couple times, and it still's happening.
So you've been working at this for a long time. How many years have you been a musician?
Well, when I got into that high school, I was going in to do I think I was gonna do the graphic design part of the vocation, and I had been writing raps and doing poetry and stuff on the side, and I heard about the program and I joined in, and so around like 15 or 16, I really started getting into like being an MC, and then after that, I tried to like make beats for myself. And then I just was like, oh, I like making beats way more than rapping, so that kind of evolved from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean that's a good choice to make. I'd say,
Mhm.
if the shoe fits, wear it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what other gigs do you have coming up right now? You just finished playing at the Nest, which is at 60 Northeast 14th Street.
Yeah.
Right across the street from Vagabond. And what else is cooking?
Next Saturday, I'm opening up for Too Many DJs at Bardot.
How many?
Too Many DJs.
How many exactly?
Too many. Well, that's the name of the act.
Okay.
I didn't want to like say like there was too many people. The act is called Too Many DJs.
And what night is that again?
It's Saturday night. At
Saturday
Bardot.
night. That's 3405 North Miami Avenue, right?
Yeah.
You know what time you're going to be on there? Roughly?
No, I got the message.
10, 11, 9?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're probably going on at midnight, and I'll probably go on at 11.
Okay. Like 11 o'clock, something like that. And
Yeah,
that'll be
yeah.
Saturday night. I mean, that's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, any other gigs on the horizon?
No, that's for now. That's it. We're working on the SZA guys. We might be playing. I think we might be playing the Nest again in April.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's the Nest, but I know it's Nug Fest, 420 Fest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
420 Festival.
Yeah, I think Matt, who's like kind of put the SZA collective together, goes by Tired.
Tired's gonna come here a little bit later.
So great musician. And he put the collective together, and I think he got us this show, which was amazing. So I think he's working on that.
Tell me a little bit about that. You're part of a collective. Tell me,
Yeah.
how that came about.
Well, there was a show at the Talent Farm about a month ago, and the guy that was promoting it, I knew him from playing when I played in bands. We played with his band a couple times, and so he contacted me about playing the show, and on the show on the same bill was Matt, um, and Lucas, who goes by Loudlos, and a couple other guys who are all beat makers. And we were like, this is so cool because usually in Miami, like it's I feel like it's just starting to get all connected with like our type of music, like these chilled out electronic acts, and so we recognize that this is like for a lot of the guys that were there, this was the first night that they actually were playing with just all similar sounding artists. And Matt was like, "Yo, like literally like a few days later, like created the Facebook group, the pages, all that for SZA Collective, and was like, "Yo, let's join up, let's play shows together, let's push each other, let's promote each other, and like stick together." And I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I've been looking for." You know? Group of guys that are like-minded and wanna vibe and do shows.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's very important for an artist to find a group of like-minded people.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can trade ideas.
Hmm.
And in this case, you might even trade different beats
Yeah.
or help critique each other's work.
Yeah, we're trying to like set up a moment where we can all get together and like collaborate and share samples and share instruments and just talk about each other's processes and all. I mean, because it really just started a few weeks ago, so we haven't had a time.
So you're a new collective.
Yeah, it just started. Like this is the first. I mean, apart from the unofficial show that we all did together at the Town Farms, this is, I guess tonight is the first time we all played together as this is a collective. So
That's very
hopefully,
cool, though. I
yeah.
mean, it's tough to find a like-minded artist, let alone a couple of them, right?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Very exciting. That's awesome. So, I mean, your contemporary. Who are the other members of the collective?
There's Loutlos, Tired. There's a producer out of South Beach named I think it's Manja. Cause I only know him through online, so I'm not sure if he pronounces it that way, but it's MANJA. There's Johnny Tiger. I know he runs his own blog down here and does a lot of things, and he's joined up.
And what's the Facebook page for the collective?
It's XYZA.
Like facebook.com
Yeah.
/XYZA.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure if you just Google that and put collective, you can find it too.
Okay, and then I've got an album here. Where can people find this guy?
I am all over the internet. I'm on SoundCloud.
So if they just look all over the internet?
You can find me in all the corners. I'm sure because a lot of times I can give you the SoundCloud. If you just Google Telescope Thieves, you'll find my SoundCloud. You'll find me Twitter.
And then on Twitter, it's there's no O in your.
Yeah,
it's
there's too many
Telescope
letters.
Thieves, but no O.
Yeah, I have the longest name ever. So on Twitter, I had to cut out a letter, so it's Telescope without the O and Thieves.
That's okay. We have @People of Ultra.
Yeah.
That fits. It barely fits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And then the name of the album is.
Well, this one was just
it's self-titled.
Yeah, well, it's just I did this. I made the cover, and it's kind of like something I give out in shows. I always try to give out CDs for free. So I have it's like just a basic cover with my name on it. And every time I play a show, I'll burn like my latest tracks and put it out and give it out to whoever wants one.
That's awesome. So I mean, you're still building the brand. So to speak.
Yeah, definitely. I have an album called Elixir, and that's on Spotify.
Okay.
Came out through a label called The Real Life. So that's on Spotify. And I also have my first album release on Bandcamp. It's called Interstellar Alchemy.
Okay, and that's what bandcamp.com /Telescope Thieves.
Telescope Thieves, yeah.
Okay, so you're the only Telescope Thieves out there.
Yeah, if you Google that, you'll find me.
Okay, fantastic. So give us a second. We're gonna hopefully cut over to the Nest and see what's going on live. That's the Nest at 60 Northeast 14th Street, right across from the Vagabond. This is the Only in Miami show, and I'm your host, Grant Stern. We'll be right back in a minute. Cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Let's see if we can get this thing.
I was listening to you the other night. You had a friend on. Oh, this is Miami. Marvin?
Oh, yeah, Marvin. He was on the 305 show. Yeah, Marvin's good people. JP, if you can hear me, unmute your mic. If you can hear me, JP, unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. He's I don't know, he's walking around. Here. Put this in there. Okay. Yeah, sure. Hector's here. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Mario. Come on in, hop in real fast. Hi. Don't worry about it. Hi, I'm Grant. Adam, and what's your... Oh, you're Warp 9, okay. And then... Okay, cool. Just give me some writing on the wall up there. Write your info up there. Like your Twitter account. Okay, Cynthia, we're about to go live from in here. Okay. No, I know that, but I'm saying we've got our next guest here. Hold on a second. Let me just go. Don't worry. Mute your phone and. Okay, Cynthia, I think we're pretty much ready here. Alrighty, so just real briefly, you got to be like here, otherwise nobody will hear you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just give it a second. Let me see if we can switch over. Is Jane still on? Yeah, she is. Okay. Just make sure this thing stays on, okay? Just zoom it in a little. Yeah. Alrighty. Let me just get all the.
I love that boombox styrofoam you guys have.
That's not styrofoam. That's actually concrete. Yep.
Oh wow,
That is concrete.
that's just got cooler.
Yeah.
And those
If you
are
can hit mute
gorillas
on there, that would be great. Yeah, mute.
I want to hear the story behind that maybe later.
Well, the story behind it is Mech has that, and we're borrowing it.
Oh, okay.
The one that looks like the microphone. You got it? Alrighty. Welcome back. This is the Only in Miami show. This is our hashtag People of Ultra edition. If you guys haven't checked it out already on Twitter, we're at People of Ultra. What we do is we publish web content. And this is, sorry. Okay, better. There we go. Yeah. Well, you can still hear it. You turned it off? No, we're good. Hello?
Check. Hello? It's definitely the camera. But I don't know.
Oh, let's give it
Check.
a shot.
Check. What is this a camera?
That's okay. Grab a seat. Yeah. There's headphones right there. Here.
Check.
Hey there. Let's try this again.
Yes. I feel like we've overcame something.
We've definitely overcome something.
Nice.
This is the Only in Miami show, and I'm your host, Grant Stern. Welcome back. This is the hashtag People of Ultra edition of our show, where we spotlight local electronic dance music that may or may not be at Ultra. And we're here with Warp 9.
That's
What's
right.
your non-stage name, my friend?
So my non-stage name is Adam, and I go by Warp 9.
You chose Warp 9 because...
Well, funny enough, I was just brainstorming with a friend of mine about a few names, and since we're kind of making electronic music that I feel like is futuristic in some ways,
Okay.
then just the idea of we were brainstorming some ideas, and Warp 9 actually seemed to work really well, and
Well, in Star Trek, they're always going to Warp 9.
actually
right?
that was kind of, yes.
I mean, I hope you're a Trekkie. I'm a Trekkie, so...
Live long and prosper. I mean, yeah, I definitely am. Grew up watching the show and stuff, at my parents' house.
Oh, that's great. I
Yeah.
mean, have you ever listened to Deltron 3030? No.
No.
No, it's okay. That's,
Yeah.
Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Yes.
Well, he's one of my favorite artists, and they did a concept album called Deltron 3030 about 10, 12 years ago. And it literally was future music. Like, it was set in the year 3030, and actually, like, Futurama, which is one of my favorite sci-fi
Mhm.
shows, was
Yeah, I
their
love
big
Futurama.
influence. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like named my dog Zoidberg, so
That's awesome.
yeah, somebody had to do
No,
it.
that's great. Zoidberg is awesome. Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, tell our audience, like, where could they find your music online?
So my website is warp9music.com, and
That's just WARP9.
yeah, you actually don't even need the www in front of it. I mean,
Yeah.
but if you do put that
Just
in there, that's
Warp
gonna work.
9, the number 9 music.
Warp9music.com, and once you go there, I have all my social media already laid out. But it's fairly easy. My Twitter name is @warp9music,
All right.
and I put it up on the board. And my SoundCloud account is soundcloud.com/warp99.
Warp99.
There's 2 9s there. Yeah.
All right. So, where are you from? Are you from Miami originally?
No, I'm not from Miami originally. I grew up in New Jersey and Maryland, and I ended up moving here about 3 years ago. I was interning at a recording studio on the beach, actually, called South Beach Studios at the Marlin Hotel.
Oh, really? At the Marlin? When was that?
I was working there about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. They always tend to open that place and close it. It's like the most renovated hotel in Miami.
It is, and
It's on 12th
but
and Collins. Yeah.
it is on 12th and Collins. It's like a legendary hotel. There's a lot of
Well, I mean,
stories.
Aerosmith recorded an album in their studio many, 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 many years ago.
Yeah, it was Aerosmith. Actually, the U2 album Zeropa was mixed in there.
Okay.
In our Studio A, and it was recorded in there. Nine Inch Nails actually, Trent Reznor mixed down some work over there, and when he was doing the work for the soundtrack for Natural Born Killers, he mixed it all there in Studio A. So There's a lot of really awesome history over there, and actually, the studio I didn't get renovated as much, but for me, it was such an amazing learning experience to see how the industry works and how do people work over there. And I got to sit on some sessions with a few local celebrities and stuff like that.
Like who?
Well, we had Pharrell Williams come in. I was definitely assisting on a few sessions with him. We had, of all people, actually, he was working. Well, also, what's her name? Brooke Hogan, Hulk Hogan's daughter. I mixed down a few
Okay.
of her songs, and
Did you mix down that tape she made? I heard she made a very
no, actually, I was
very
there.
well received tape.
Yeah, I was.
Oh no, I mean the other. No, it's never mind. Wrong
Oh, I got
tape.
you.
My bad.
Yeah. So actually, what's her name? I got to meet the local legend from Miami Music Machines. Name escapes me right now, but
Miami Sound Machine.
Miami Sound Machine.
I mean Gloria
Estefan. I got to meet Gloria Estefan, and yeah, it was really fun. I was actually slightly intimidated. She's like this tall, but you got the presence, and you're like, wow, and yeah, it was cool.
No. She actually started at a nightclub on 8th Street and 22nd Avenue called Oy Como Ayer, which a lot of like incredible musicians in this town have gigged,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this tiny little hole in the wall. They made it nicer over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
she's
awesome.
definitely a Miami original. So
Yeah.
you've been here for how long?
So I've been here for 3 years. I was at the studio for about a year and a half, and I was just over there grinding and doing the studio hustle and working there all hours of the night and stuff. So after about a year and a half, I kind of just decided to step it up and kind of go on my own, do my own freelancing work because I knew people who needed work, and really start putting more time into my own music and my own ideas about music, because being around those amazing creative people, I feel like just really stir the passion in me to write music even more and be more committed to it.
So where are you gigging this week for Ultra?
So last weekend I played a local show right here, and
Where at?
it was actually at the Nest.
Okay, at the
Yeah.
Nest.
It was Friday at the Nest, yeah, and it was the whole locals. I actually tag teamed with my roommate Afromonk JM, who is my roommate. Yeah, because this week I have on Friday I'm actually playing at a huge show at the Nest with Kill Paris.
All right. What time? What time's like doors open?
Doors open at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably go on a little bit later.
They'll definitely go on a little bit later. I'm actually probably scheduled to go after the Floozies, which are a really huge name that are actually definitely on the lookout list right now for me. They're coming in from Colorado, I imagine. And
I mean, just for our audience, for people that maybe don't know, everything that goes on after Ultra, like it's after midnight. Like literally, Ultra shuts down at midnight sharp every single night.
Yeah.
And then all of the really good songs, all the really good music, all the really good artists start playing at the clubs after midnight, because obviously before midnight it's pretty much,
yeah,
not much of a crowd on an Ultra weekend.
No. Actually, there's the most amazing times to be had at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning out here. And last year, actually, I played a couple of amazing shows here at 4 in the morning. We had
Will
two
Call
amazing
Bar
nights at Will Call.
on Northeast 7th and 2nd Avenue.
Yes, that was last year, and that was a great time. This year, because I'm part of the Massive Ideas roster and crew, we've opened the Nest. Yesterday, we actually brought the Street Ritual crowd from their big DJ roster out from the West Coast, who play huge festivals out there, and that was yesterday. That was Vibe Squad and Nico Luminous and Lafa Taylor, Jillian Ann, and then there was the Massive Ideas DJs, me, Afro Monk, Skinny Hendrix, and a few more of the local guys. So yeah, Friday we're playing. There's going to be that show with Kill Paris, and yeah, doors open at 10, but I'm probably not going on until 3 or 4 in the morning.
Right.
And it's sure to be amazing. Kill Paris is actually huge right now. He got signed to Skrillex label last year to Owsla Records.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's definitely on that meteoric rise right now, and it'd be great to have him. And we also got a couple of other names like Michael Minaire, who's actually one of the first guy Pretty Light signed to his label.
All right.
He's going to be there, and he's another guy who's definitely an amazing guy to watch. So I'm just really honored to be part of that lineup. Saturday, I'm actually playing at an old local show at a local gallery, and I'll have more details up on the website. But it's going to be Afro Beta, the Telekinetic Walruses. It's going to be me and a few other locals.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard of Afro Beta. They're,
Oh yes, I've certainly heard of
Yeah,
Afro Beta. They've
I'm-
been on the show before.
Yeah, I'm good
Good
friends.
friends.
Good friends with Tony. I love Tony. I actually have a few of his keyboards. I'll bring them back.
You hear that, Tony?
I
This
have
guy is bringing your keyboards
I
back.
have the Korg vocoder. It's coming back. Now, so
So,
that's
so tell me about the genre that your music is in for our listeners, because we're going to be playing on the radio. We're going to play some of your tracks in the middle,
yeah,
but,
please.
nothing tonight right now.
I actually put up well, if you go to my website or on my Twitter name, I constantly put my mixes up there, and you will find all my stuff. Like, I constantly update it. And I actually just made a mix for this week on Thursday and loaded it, and I've gotten 2,000 plays in 2 days. And,
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah.
But I mean, like, what do you put genre-wise?
So
when
my
you-
music
when you
actually
upload it to
falls.
SoundCloud?
It's to me, it falls in between what would be called mid-tempo nowadays, which
Okay.
is it's like bass-heavy music that happens around 100 to 115 BPM,
All right.
and then I kind of like to mix it up with electro music.
Okay.
So those are kind of the two genres that I work in there, and I'm also a fan of what we call the glitch genre, which is like the OPO, and even like even Skrillex and Deadmau5 and Kill the Noise have been experimenting with the glitch. So
Like glitch hop.
exactly. Actually, my music is probably the mixture of all three: the mid-tempo, the glitch hop, and the electro music. So yeah, it works very well. I feel like once you get the blend just right.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it does. So,
Yeah.
who are your main musical influences?
So actually, growing up, my influences were oddly enough jam band music. I've been a guitar player and I've played guitar my whole life. I played in bands and I was all about the jam scene growing up when I was 16, 17, 18, 19.
So you're talking about Fish,
I love Fish.
Widespread Panic.
I love Widespread Panic. I mean, yeah, my friends.
Well, who doesn't love Widespread Panic?
I
No,
mean,
I mean,
all
no,
that
I'm
stuff. So yeah, I was 16 and my friends introduced me to like the Allman Brothers and all that great stuff and Fish and the Grateful Dead, and I definitely fell in love with Fish instantly, and that led me to my other love, which was funk music, Parliament Funkadelic, Zapp and Roger, and I feel like that kind of what drew me to certain genres of electronic music. I felt like that's kind of where it is right
Okay.
now. You know?
So like you just naturally led from funk into like funky beats.
Yeah, it was this weird journey where I went from Fish to electronic music, and I didn't think it was going to happen because there were days where there were times in my life when I would play the guitar for 4 hours a day and like learn that solo and jam with my band, and like electronic music was as far from my mind. But sure enough, I was 20 years old and I went and saw some shows, and it was some breakbeat DJs, and it was just really funky with a vocoder, and slowly it just drew me in. Yeah.
That's cool. So do you have formal musical training too?
I did. So after I fell in love with music and with DJing, I decided to go and pursue it seriously with love and support from my parents, and I went to a Berklee College of Music up in Boston,
Oh,
and I
okay.
graduated from their sound design and electronic production program.
Okay, so you've had the real deal.
Yeah, that
of
was
formal
4 years
training.
ago.
Okay.
I graduated 4 years ago, and then pretty much afterwards, it was like, where am I going to go? And that's where I got in contact with the people down here, and they're like, well, you're going to get to meet some people if you come down here to Miami, and it's beautiful. So,
Sure, the
decided to-
weather's not bad, I hear.
yeah. I mean, I love it. After three and a half years in Boston, this was a welcome relief. It was fun.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to hear people's stories because people show up here. Some people grew up here.
Yeah.
Some show up here. Some came here because they really thought it was the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you did the last of the three.
Well, I had some good friends move down here, so it was kind of made easy for me, I thought, because I had one of my best friends move down here, and like just have him around and introduce me to people, and having work at the studio kind of helped me schmooze a network. And within actually a short amount of time, I think it was I feel like I kind of met the people that would help me on my journey, And
then you,
yeah.
you got a roommate who happens to be like,
Well, funny
man.
enough, I had a friend here, and we started Warp 9 together.
okay,
And he's like, he did some computers and he did some of the beats and stuff like that, and I would actually play live keys and and play live keys and play my guitar and kind of do more like a jam thing with the music. And then actually Anders from Massive Ideas found about it, came to the shows and approached us and actually decided he's like going to support us and started booking us for a lot of shows. And it's been definitely a blessing because I got to play with a lot of like some of my favorite artists over the last year, you know.
So, but it's just
Yeah, unfortunately he works a full-time job, and the more
sucks how those full-time jobs get in the way of
yeah,
more creative pursuits at times.
it's true. And I feel like in my life I've kind of made the effort where like if I know things will be taking me away from music and my passion, I kind of make that tough decision. But for him, he was already very well, like he already had a career, which kind of makes it very difficult. And the more the music kind of grew and went well, and the more amazing feedback we got, the more time I ended up spending on it, and it just drew me in, and it just got to that point, you know. But I'm happy about it, and we're best friends. It was interesting.
So
the journey.
So, I mean, people that are going to listen to your music, what other kind of groups are they listening to right now? Because, I mean, our listeners out there are going to say, well, I listen to this.
Right. So actually, if you listen to Pretty Lights and you like anything Pretty Lights does, you'll instantly love my music because I have this great marriage between hip hop, funk, and that rawness of analog synthesizer we all so much love. And at times I also inject element of blues and jazz and those kind of soul samples that I love that stuff, and I know that Pretty Lights and those kind of guys, we love that aesthetic in music.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So tell our audience again one more time, where can they find Warp 9?
So yeah, my Twitter is Warp9Music, my SoundCloud is Warp99, and the website is warp9music.com, which I have a blog on there, and I have tons of music that I put up, and I try to really keep up to date and really actually I do a lot of work for other people too, with mixing and mastering. So I tons of music, and you can find out about a lot of awesome things if you go there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, our audience should find you Friday night at the Nest, correct?
Friday night at the Nest, and Saturday, I really hope you guys go to the website or my Facebook, and I will post all of that stuff up, because Saturday's going to be a great night with locals, and I think there's something Sunday too, but right now I'm just enjoying myself this week,
keep
this first
posted.
weekend. Yeah.
www.warp number 9 music.
Yeah, I have an Instagram account. I'm on everything. So
all Warp 9
it's
music.
all Warp 9 music, except my my SoundCloud is Warp99. So
great. Yeah. Well, Adam, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, man. It's been great.
Awesome. And we'll see you at People of Ultra, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. This is the Only in Miami show, and I'm your host, Grant Stern. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I hope to see you online at People of Ultra throughout this week, as our People of Ultra account takes crowdsourced content and presents it for you. You don't have to go to Ultra to find out what's going on at Ultra at all this week. Go to www.peopleofultra.com. This isn't the Only in Miami show, and thanks for listening tonight.
Thank you.